Car les larmes vacarmes s'en va dans l'oubli éternel et Gustave donne guardian d'Illy.
Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, is a swan song not just for indie game viability, but for games in general. Created by the indie startup Sandfall, it surpassed expectations by selling 500,000 units on launch day, reaching 1 million within 3 days, and then 3.3 million in, yes, 33 days. Metrics show that active players remain at a healthy 727,000 with an average playtime of around 25 hours. That said, only 25 to 30% actually completed the game. Why? We dive into that and more in this episode of VerseGeo.
A quick warning for anyone who hasn't completed the game and has plans to: huge spoilers ahead. We're dissecting whole chunks of the game, so if you don't want to know, please stop watching now. Some games give you weapons, others give you choices, but once in a rare while, a game hands you a mirror. In Clair Obscur, you're not just fighting monsters or saving the world, you're being asked a much harder question. Would you give up a beautiful lie for an ugly truth? The world of Clair Obscur is designed around the ritual of the gommage, the annual erasure of all individuals above a certain age. This death countdown forces characters into perpetual awareness of their finite existence. This is the narrative framework in Clair Obscur, and it induces a Sisyphean dread reminiscent of Camus' existentialism, that life is absurd and meaning must be forged through action in the face of inevitable death. As the title suggests, we embark with Expedition 33 in the 67th year of this ritualized flushing of civilization, following in the failed footsteps of all those who came before them to do the same, confront the paintress and end the gommage, or die trying, blazing a trail for the next expedition to have a better chance at success.
You're old. How did you survive the gommage? Which expedition are you from? Fall back!
Counter to this dark narrative frame is a beautifully painted world, weaved with distortion, split realities, twisted artifice, and conflict, inspired by Belle Epoque aesthetics and framed within JRPG sensibilities. The combat mechanics are unique, refreshing, and engagingly challenging. The world, the story, its characters are all a reflection of its name, Clair Obscur, of chiaroscuro, of light and dark, yin and yang, of two opposing realities, forever turning in a symbiotic whirlpool of mutual existence and mutual destruction.
You holding up? We're almost there.
Holding up. Everywhere we go, just death. Death and more death. Everywhere we go, just death. I don't want to see that anymore.
Look, Maelle,
I thought you would understand. You said you spent your immortality burying the people around you. Doesn't any of this bother you? And you. Gustav's dead. How can you keep going like nothing happened?
We need to continue.
Why do you...
Maelle. You know what we must do. When one falls, Come on.
We are battling for the fate we fear.
One of the most potent twists arrives at the end of Act 2, when the player, and Verso himself, realize that everything experienced is a creation within a canvas, painted by the Dissonant family. This mental upheaval echoes philosophical skepticism and questions about reality. What is real? Do creations deserve the same moral consideration as the authentic world? Verso's growing awareness, combined with Maelle's fragmented identity, puts players in a liminal space, empathy for characters who are both original and derivative. It's an aesthetic version of Nietzsche's perspectivism, that reality is subjectively filtered, often through art. What if your entire world was just a painting? What if your joy, your grief, your struggle were all brushstrokes in someone else's art? In Clair Obscur, this is not a metaphor. It's the truth the game reveals, in a devastating final act that asks not just whether your world is real, but whether it matters.
When this is over, we'll go home together.
No!
Across the gaming landscape, a consistent pattern emerges. Most players don't finish narrative-heavy games.
To what do we owe the pleasure of your company?
We're heading for Old Lumiere.
Okay, bye.
Hey, come on. Hey.
It's not just Clair Obscur. Even masterpieces like The Witcher 3, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Horizon Forbidden West see a steep drop-off in final act completion. In that sense, Clair Obscur is not unusual. But here's where it becomes philosophically rich. Clair Obscur's ending is not just the finale. It is the point. The entire narrative structure leads us to a confrontation with illusion, grief, and authenticity.
The moment I leave, Papa will erase this canvas.
This is not worth your life.
What life? My life of loneliness in a shell of a body, with no voice and no future.
You're Maelle. No matter where you are, you don't need this canvas.
But everything I want is here. Here I have a chance to live, Verso, to live. Out there I merely exist.
Life keeps forcing cruel choices.
Stop quoting Papa!
It's time to stop painting.
Verso!
Clair Obscur doesn't tell you which ending is better. It asks, which pain are you willing to carry? The quiet ache of living inside a lie, or the searing clarity of starting over? So when most players don't reach it, the question becomes, are they resisting the story's hard truths, or is the story simply failing to earn their attention?
I'm more a story person than a numbers person. I enjoy combat and tactics as much as the next guy, but I definitely skew towards story. And if a story and its characters have captured me, if the world offers an immersive experience, I'll be compelled to see it to the end, or ends, and to explore as much as my adult life will allow.
A rolling stone gathers no moss.
Pardon me? In the stories, they say Esquier likes to speak in riddles.
In what way?
I don't get it.
We really need to cross the sea. Would you please help us?
There's a lot of you to carry. I'm strong, but I'm not that strong. I will need Flory.
Who's Flory?
One of my rocks.
Rocks.
See? Flory helps me swim. But Flory was stolen by my arch nemesis. The one whose every step shakes the foundation of the world. The one known as François.
This doesn't invalidate or dismiss the fact that a vast majority of gamers could care less about this stuff. But for anyone who is still watching or cares about stories at all, the ludonarrative dissonance topic is an interesting one, particularly from a design standpoint.
Ludonarrative dissonance is a term first coined by Clint Hawking in 2007, when he described this phenomenon within the seminal game BioShock. It primarily describes the conflict between a game's story, narrative, and its gameplay, Ludo. If you want to learn more about it, I have some links below in the description. Now for me, personally, I found less ludonarrative dissonance with Clair Obscur than some of the historical references that are used in its description, but I'm steel manning the argument as a potential reason for why so many players never finish the game. From a publishing view, especially for a single-player game perspective with no MMO live play structure to think about, if someone has bought the title, I guess it doesn't matter whether they finish the game or not. But from a creation standpoint, these aspects give a contextual framework to any game that I think is essential and worthy of study.
Hey, look, I know we failed before, but look, you doofus. Don't you recognize her?
Of course I do.
Then you know what that means. This is our shot. It might be our only shot.
This is your only shot. Out of the question. I will never join you again.
There will be a lot of fighting, though.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's true.
There will be a lot of fighting.
Exactly.
Count me in then.
Good.
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 Yes, good.
Noko's coming too.
Oh, you are?
In the final moments of Expedition 33, you're asked to choose between two endings. Both are heartbreaking, both are true, and neither can be undone.
Unpaint me.
Do you follow Maelle and preserve the painted world, fragile, false, but beloved? A world where your friends continue to live, where meaning is handcrafted like pigments on canvas, where the horrors may return, but so will love, so will laughter, so will Esquia's joyful wheeze. Maelle's path is tender. It is loving. It's the choice to shelter others from pain, to keep the dream alive, even if it's built on lies. It's the scroll, the algorithm, the loop, the warmth of a blanket pulled over your eyes. But comfort has a cost. Or do you follow Verso and destroy the canvas, shattering illusion to return to a colder, emptier reality?
Miroir du temps. Nos histoires
Alicia waits there. She is real, she is grieving, but she is free. Free to remember, free to feel, free to live without delusion.
de monde se dessine.
Verso's choice is harsh, not because it causes pain, but because it allows it.
Où le chagrin s'efface.
He chooses the real, and real means grief. Real means letting go of Esquier, of Gustave, of Lune's quiet strength. But in that grief lies authenticity, and from authenticity, real healing.
Sous les étoiles, où tout commence, rien ne finit. Dans l'étreinte du destin, les liens restent éternels dans le dessin.
On its surface, one can argue it's nihilism versus aestheticism, annihilation versus illusion, and both are rooted in pain. What's terrifying is how persuasive both are, because in the wrong moments of our own lives, we've believed each of them. And in Clair Obscur, this becomes the choice. To keep scrolling, or to speak the hard truth. To preserve the dream, or to grieve it honestly and move on. To be alone in comfort, or to suffer something real together.
I will miss you guys.
In chiaroscuro, there is no light without shadow. Some players may feel the emotional toll of the world without consciously wanting to unpack it. The ritualistic death cycle, the painter gods, the creeping sense of dread, it's all very heavy. Finishing it would mean facing the reality that these characters, this world, and even the player's own escapism were illusions. To be fair, the combat system in Clair Obscur is vibrant, tactile, and kinetic. It rewards presence, not introspection. It could be that most players experience the game as a beautifully executed action JRPG and feel they've gotten what they came for. Reaching the end is superficial to them, unnecessary. And if they're curious as to how it ends, they can look it up. This is the ludonarrative divide in games made vivid. The gameplay and the story aim at different ends, different experiences. Combat is aesthetic affirmation. The story is emotional subtraction. Some players stay for the brushstrokes, but step back before the paint turns into darkened blood. We live in an age of delegated confrontation. People watch reaction videos instead of finishing shows, read plot summaries instead of enduring the story experience, and consume endings vicariously through Reddit threads and YouTube explainers. In Clair Obscur, that might look like admiring the aesthetic, appreciating the premise, then outsourcing the heartbreak. Why suffer Verso's choice when a synopsis gives you the answer? But what fascinates me, and what I argue here, is that Clair Obscur isn't simply about knowing what happened. It's about owning the weight of the decision. If you've come this far, I thank you for watching, and would love to know if you finished Clair Obscur, and if you didn't, why? This is genuine curiosity. I realize there must be a wide spectrum of reasons for anyone, and this isn't a judgment or a survey, it's a conversation. Not just about narrative in games, but in how we all connect or experience them. The numbers don't lie. The game is a huge success and worthy of all its accolades. But by leaning in toward design and participation, there's much more to this story. If you're here watching this, you already know. There's a difference between knowing the truth and walking through it. In the end, every one of us is a painter. We paint our days with choices, with our individual stories, our relationships with truth, our grief with time. And maybe the world is breaking. Maybe the gommage is coming for all of us in one form or another. But what Clair Obscur Expedition 33 tells us is this: that even in a dying world, especially in a dying world, what you choose to paint still matters. The real world is worth it, and so is the ending.